I'm with Chief Minister John Fondre, Holocaust Day. How many events like this have you been to? Do you remember?
Been to this particular service once or twice in my political life, definitely. I can't remember how many times. Obviously, and Remembrance Day is the main one for me, which has mainly been parish up to take on the role of Chief Minister.
Right.
And so then, since then, we've had the opening of the Garden of Remembrance, then Remembrance Day, obviously this one, and also the service held on the harbour, which was in June, July time.
Do you think people are really aware of what went on, even in Jersey? Are people aware of everything that this means?
I'm not too sure. I mean, for me, I think for my generation, we'll all have had relatives, whether it's parents or possibly grandparents, who lived all through it. For my children, they obviously, it's one step removed. So I think actually that's where these events are quite important, is getting it on to the next generation. And again, so it just doesn't become something that happens somewhere else.
Because you've got how many children, youngsters reading out text today, but in the audience, if I can call them an audience, the participants, not many young people.
No, that's true. But I think actually the point is in all the schools and things like that, we know they do various efforts, as it were, and teachings, particularly at primary school level, as to people, sometimes it's members of their family through the occupation, things like that. So there is a part of the learning programme, shall we say, to bring that understanding closer to them.
I was interested, I didn't know the bailiff was talking about the Stockholm arrangement, which I knew nothing about, and that's a sort of international movement.
Yes.
Every year, whenever I ask the Chief Minister about this, I always ask, are you satisfied with our human rights international obligations? There's no department in Jersey dealing with international obligations for the public to make them aware.
Well, it's a fair comment. In terms of, we were having discussions actually very, very recently about, for example, how some of our laws, where they are still fit for purpose in relation to women, actually. And
well, you're being asked a question, I think, on Tuesday, I think.
Well, it's interesting.
A question is up.
I was speaking with one of my other colleagues, and
exactly.
It will be a piece of work, I think, that we just need to have a look at, because it gets brought more and more to my attention where we do have deficiencies in some quite fundamental positions. So
that Convention on Discrimination Against Women is a very old convention. I mean, yes. Jersey is really ought to be ashamed of itself for not having signed up. There's no excuse really, is there?
I think the focus, obviously, for the last few years has been on children for fairly obvious reasons, but I think you're right. We've got to make sure if we are signed up to these things, and they're deemed to be, modern day good practice, which they are, we should be doing it. So I think there will be some changes that we have to make.
Well, as I keep asking the same question in various parts, in the front of the island plan there's a reference to 350 or 360 international conventions and obligations. Nobody can tell me what they are. And there's a research which your department has been doing, and I think they've either got to 61 or 71 that they've discovered that they can name, but where are the rest? That's 300 missing.
I think it would be a fair comment. I think it might be a question that probably rightly directed towards the law officers, who probably should know where what our obligations are. I mean, it is an issue because sometimes we have talked about this in certain circumstances, and we've got to make sure one's very clear as to what one's signing up to, because it's more than a good idea.
Well, Brexit hovering, you've got to know what you signed up for, because you might want to unsign some of those, mightn't you?
Well, the point is that if you signed up to it, the natural understanding is that you're going to be adhering to them in some shape or form. And so there are some discussions whether you sign up to them directly or whether you sign up to them and just kind of go with some of the principles, shall we say. And we are seeing that in certain other jurisdictions.
And if you want to promote your international personality, you've got to know what it is, haven't you?
Well, the international personality is fine, but the fact that we've got to understand is, as you say, what obligations and treaties we have signed up to, and how they and what compliance with that actually means.
When Jersey signed up for the European Convention of Human Rights, made it part of effectively local law, for about 12 months or so, you did employ a woman who had the instruction to make that known, and she had a small budget, but when the budget ran out, that was the end of her. Great loss, great pity, because she was doing good promotional work, which all these international conventions say you must do. You must educate the public. So something missing there.
I think it's one of those pieces of work that we know we're going to have to do. As I said, there was a very, very recent discussion, as in like Friday, when we were raising this point, and particularly the focus on women. And I think that will be a piece of work we'll set going in due course.
The writer for the film was here today. Have you seen the film?
Unfortunately, I haven't, but I was just listening to what she said during the opening address, and it was very, very moving, and she was absolutely right.
We were talking about the school curriculum with other events the other day. Perhaps that could be included in the school curriculum?
I don't see any reason why not. You've always got to be slightly careful to how much you load into the school curriculum, but it is part of island culture and island identity and all that type of thing. So logic would say it should be included at some point.
I feel sure lots of students would like a couple of hours in the cinema to watch it, wouldn't they?
Well, the point is, it is one of those where it is a direct, true story of somebody who acted in a very brave way in very difficult times, and that is a story that should continue to be told.
Anything else you want to tell me?
I think the comment I will just make is that I'm always touched when I look at a number of the stories that we see, and obviously one of the ones I touch on is actually my great uncle, I think it is, who's Jack Sawyer. And it was also slightly moving to hear his name read out today as part of the service.
Yes, indeed. And I was looking at them over there. You've got not all of the 21, but when you read their stories, it makes it relate to me.
Yes. No, precisely. Anyway, it's been a good day, and on that note, I think we all need to go and thaw out some.
Thanks, indeed.
Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Cheers.